What's good, beautiful people? I'm the Black Thumb, and this is my man,
Ayati.
and welcome to New to the Game podcast, the podcast for the casual NBA fan.
Now, the casual NBA fan is more interested in the culture, the fashion, the music, the drama. And talking about drama and fashion, what are we going to start with today?
So, I thought it would be cool if we did a proper All-Star Weekend recap.
Okay, yeah, do that right.
We did a quick interlude on All-Star and
did.
Fired off a few shots.
Had
a rant or two.
It was
a full-on rant for some. My man's right here, Ayati.
Got rants on rants.
But yeah, I figured we could talk about some of the other takeaways from All-Star Weekend. So with that being said, what was your big takeaway from All-Star Weekend and what you were able to watch?
I mean, my biggest takeaway is that I just didn't like it. So, I mean, caveat, to be full disclosure, I didn't even really watch All-Star Weekend, but I did catch the All-Star game. Like, I watched the whole shit and was kind of mad. Like, I watched it. Like, yeah, I didn't like it. I could have saved my time on this shit. And I feel like, damn, did I miss something? Because you was like, no, I was good on Friday and Saturday. So I'm like, fuck, what did I miss? Like, because this shit is trash. Like, I was upset. Were they tired? I don't know. Maybe a whole weekend of just living it up. And you come to the game, you just like, fuck this shit. But, yeah, I personally was like, I could have did without this. As a fan watching it from home. Commercials was cool.
The commercials was cool. Yeah, I mean, I agree. There was definitely, in the game, there was a lack of competitive spirit, desire that has been kind of talked about ad nauseum on lots of different sports outlets and popular sports shows. And I think where a lot of folks are like trying to figure out is like, what is going to create a more competitive game, a more entertaining game. And I know you had some thoughts about like what the NBA could do to make it a little bit better or more entertaining. What are some of those thoughts? Share them with the people.
Okay, so like for yo folks, I don't know if y'all watched the All-Star game. The shit was a high ass scoring game, so that's why like, when you say no competitiveness, I feel like they'll try to argue back and say it was a 211-point game. So it had to be some competition there. People were scoring, but that shit got boring. It was like playing like a 3-year-old with the remote unplugged, and you just was just fucking jamming. Cause no one was trying to block nobody, and I get it. Like it's All-Star Weekend, you ain't trying to hurt nobody, but it just seemed like no one was invested really. So you had this high ass scoring game, but motherfuckers was doing wild ass shots, shooting it from the bleachers and shit, because nobody ain't really gonna watch you. So you like, I'm gonna just try some shit I could do in the gym, and I don't want to sit around. I don't want to feel like I'm at 24-hour fitness watching motherfuckers practice, and that's what it felt like. Yeah, these are still high caliber athletes, but it's still not fun to watch these motherfuckers practice. So if that's what y'all gonna do, I'm cool on that shit. And I feel like the way they could fix that, I think it should probably be a league thing, because even the league, the scores are just getting too damn high to me. Like, I don't like hearing a game was like 160 points. Unless a motherfucker really was like 80 points by himself. Like, it makes sense when like a Kobe did 81 points, or like an Embiid by himself did 70. It was just a random hot streak. But just regular games is like 140. I'm like, anybody playing defense? Like, what the fuck going on? And if you can't encourage them to be defensive, you got to incentivize the defense. And right now, like, yeah, you get a stat. So, like, people will call you the man if you defensive player of the year and you got a whole bunch of fucking blocks. But there's not, like, something you can tangibly walk away with. And I feel like if they give you a negative point for every fucking shot you miss, number one, you ain't going to keep doing them wild-ass shots from far away. Coach going to yell at your ass. You keep taking these far-ass shots because you losing points. Because let's be real, people are only scoring 30%. So if you got a score of 160, how much is going to be lost for a whole bunch of negative points? And then they make a defender want to defend. Because if I make this motherfucker miss, they lose a point. And that's actually, I can go home at the end of the day and say, if I block 10 shots, that's 10 points I took from another team. That, to me, is a real point stat that a person can take in the end of their career. If you played for fucking 15 years, they can actually say how many points you actually stole from other teams. Not just blocks. Every time a motherfucker missed a shot because you did some shit, that's an amazing stat to have. And that would prevent this fucking 200-point fucking game shit from happening. Because now you're going to be like, okay, score actually might be 45 to 50. Like 45
45 to 50. I don't know that we want it to be that low.
Man, I swear to God, they only
Like,
making 10% of the shots they made. They made 200 points.
I mean, that's fair.
As many shots they threw up.
But a lot of those shots were wide open, uncontested. They can do that in their sleep. So this is where, okay, so...
But then you might want to actually defend them because there will be an incentive to make them miss. Like, they were going to lose a point.
Yes, I agree.
You might actually have games where people got negative points, and that shit would be funny as fuck to me. You lost negative 34 to 17. That shit is funny as hell to me. I'm like, you got negative points? Y'all trash as fuck. And I would love that. Like, that'd be amazing to watch. Like, negative. Because then it make you be more strategic. You got to play more like chess and shit. Like, some players, you can't touch the ball. You gave us negative 45 points last game.
Your plus minus was literally...
negative.
It's a live plus minus, basically.
And then it might just make you sit the fuck down if you having a bad night, you might be like, dude, don't give me the fucking ball. Like, just don't. Like, I can't keep making this a negative. Like, you could have an amazing lead and a player just fucks that shit up because he just missed a bunch of shit.
But I feel like in that situation, it would still come down to being on the star players because they're going to get the bulk of the shots. Now, I think to your point, if you're already down by a wide margin and you're in the negative and you're a role player, are you more apt to take a shot knowing that if you miss, it's only going to make things worse? Or would you rather, like, I'm gonna go ahead and swing. I'm gonna go ahead and swing the ball.
Let's see who's high.
I'm gonna swing the ball to the superstar and let them take this heat. I think it could go either way in that situation. Here's something to throw at you. What if, in the spirit of what could we do to make the game more competitive? What if we took away the 3-point line altogether, right? And I think a couple of things would happen. If it's still a lack of competitiveness, we would see a lot more great in-game dunks, right?
Yeah.
Because the lane would be open and folks would be able to just do what they wanted to do, right? Because I think most of our stars are not slam dunk contest dunkers. They are great in-game dunkers. Like the stuff that Ant-Man does, yes, if he did the same thing in a slam dunk contest, we'd be like, oh, that was really athletic. But it wouldn't be like... Yeah. He would, like, to me, like, I feel like even with the superstar, like Ant-Man, like, he would still need to do something like what Mac McClung did, where he, like, jumped over a person, grabbed the ball, let the ball go, grabbed it again, and then dunked it. Like, yeah. I would just want to see Ant-Man do that, right? But I think most of these guys are very much so in-game dunkers. And in this case, because there's no 3-point line, the dunk is just as much as a half-court shot, right? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So there's no incentive for you to be out here showing off your range when it's all the same.
Especially if you might get a negative point because your ass missed some shit. So you going for the dunk because I ain't missing these dunks.
Yeah, so these rules combined would create... And it condenses the court, which means you have to play in a little bit more traffic, which means the overall competitiveness and physicality is going to increase, which should start, because it's only going to take a couple of bumps and oh, this motherfucker really just screened my ass. And now it's like, it's on. We're balling.
Yes.
And so I think our powers combined.
Exactly.
We could have we might have just figured this out, bruh.
It was solved right there. That was the missing fucking piece. You can't just give motherfuckers negative points for missing shit. Because motherfuckers still got these Steph Currys and shit out here. They still might be like, still be shooting shit from nowhere. I'll
miss one if I'm going to make 3 most of the time.
Exactly. I'll take this chance from losing that one. I don't care. But if now you ain't even got that 3, coach will be hot. You know this is a 50% chance now. You losing half the points when you ass miss. When you miss, half our points is gone. Mm-hmm. Don't do that shit no more. But it's unfortunate. You're going to have a lot of pushback from people like Steph because you literally going to destroy his whole stack. Like, he losing a third of what his points are.
But to me, I would say, like, it would actually kind of make it a little bit more even. Because remember, like, the 3-point shot hasn't been in the NBA for perpetuity. So it was, I don't remember the exact year that the 3-point shot was implemented. But even when it was implemented, like, most teams didn't shoot them at the volume or the percentage that the players do now. So if anything, it would make the stats more aligned or at least the All-Star game stats would be more
Yeah.
aligned with what it had been from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it just make him rely on some of his other skill sets. Like, I'm not saying that Steph won't be still an amazing Hall of Fame player, because he just has these other skill sets that will get highlighted.
Yeah.
Steph can get to the rim.
He can get to the rim.
He can dodge your ass and somehow find his way to make an easy ass shot right at the rim without dunking.
Yeah.
He ain't got a jam on you.
Him and Kyrie's layup packages are unreal. And just like the handles to get to where they need to go, to be able to pull up, but then make you think they're going to pull up, but then they scooping up and under and all around and spinning off. And like, bro, like Kyrie and Steph are insane when it comes to finishing around the rim, being mostly below the rim players, and still being able to get where they need to go and finish above, the giants inside.
So yeah, I mean, they'll probably be mad for a second. Like, what the fuck? Like, a motherfucker that literally is a 3-point leader and still has a lot of career left will be upset that you're taking away something that he know. He's the Viking of it.
But it's just for one game, and it's just.
Oh, this ain't all season.
No. It's just All-Star. Just for the All-Star game, just to create a more competitive All-Star game.
Okay.
But your point is well taken in implementing the shot differential, where you lose a point for missing a shot, and obviously if you make it, you get whatever you get. Throughout the season, just to kind of offset some of these crazy offensive games.
I think where my brain is at is that I don't think that the bad All-Star game is just because the All-Star game. I think it's a symptom of something else.
Yes.
This is shit that's going on in the league. It's just highlighted during the All-Star game.
Yeah.
It's amplified. All the shit that we be dealing with while watching the game is highlighted during All-Star weekend.
Yeah.
The no defense.
Yeah.
This certain shot is only what people want to take. People don't want to take a risk on dunking. It's like all these systematic things are just highlighted that day. And I think that's why I was like, well, no, we making these rules across the board, right? I mean, that's why I was leaning across that. But now it makes sense. Like, yeah, they shouldn't give you too much pushback because it's literally one game.
It's just one game, right? And it's
to make this more competitive.
And it's at the end of the day, it's about the fan experience, right? Yeah. It's like All-Star Weekend is really a celebration of the fans. So like, I feel like for me, like there were a couple of things that really stood out to me from All-Star Weekend in a positive way, because I'm with you. Like, the All-Star game was not an enjoyable experience as a viewer to watch for a litany of reasons. But the two things that really stood out to me was, number one, the Celebrity All-Star game.
Yeah.
And the 3-point contest between Steph Curry and Sabrina Ionescu. So I feel like those two things were really great looks for the league. Number one, because the celebrity basketball game was way more competitive. It was way, way, way more competitive than the actual All-Star game.
Yeah.
They had a couple of NFL players in there, like Puka Nacua had a couple of dunks that were just like, oh, okay, like he can ball. CJ Stroud played pretty well. Michael Parsons he looked like he was a mix between like Shaq and Glenn Big Baby Davis. Like, because he's like kind of he's like 6'1", 6'2", or however, he's not like tall, but he's like, he's thick, you know what I mean? But he's quick. Man, he was running motherfuckers over. Bro, he was just like, give me the ball in the paint. He was just like drop stepping, dunking on folks. Like, it was, bro, like, but the intensity level was...
They had something to prove.
Like, they was playing, bro.
They had something to prove.
They was playing. And so I feel like the league, in a lot of respects, like, they're doing a lot right during All-Star Weekend. All-Star Weekend is literally like what the Super Bowl is to the NFL. All-Star Weekend is to the NBA, essentially, right? Like, this is where like all the brand partners of the league and individual players are there, and their deals are being done. Like, dinners are being had, all like media obligations are being made, and all of these things are happening. And so I think there is an element of like, maybe some of these players are just like exhausted and tired by Sunday night because they've been there since Thursday evening.
Yeah.
There are a litany of parties. There's a litany of media responsibilities, and then by Sunday evening
you want me to play a game
at 8:40 at night, you know what I'm saying? Like it's almost 9:00. We just now tipping off. It's almost 9:00 Eastern time, and we just now throwing the ball up in the air to play. Like, yeah, you kind of get what you get in that situation. So I think there's a little bit of that as well. Look, like, what are your thoughts on some of the additions or some of the things that happen outside of the actual game?
Like, what you mean? Like, narrow in on outside activities.
So let's talk about the Steph and Sabrina.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was tight.
Yeah. So like this year, a part of the Saturday night, they typically just have the skills challenge, the 3-point contest, and the slam dunk contest, and that's kind of how Saturday night goes traditionally. This year, they added a 3-point contest between Sabrina Ionescu and Steph Curry. After Sabrina went out last year or this past season during the WNBA All-Star Weekend and put up the highest 3-point contest score in history, period. Bar none. Men, women, children. It doesn't matter. Dogs, cats, any and all. She put up the highest score. I think she hit like 26 out of 28 shots or something like that, or something crazy like that. And so right after she did that, Steph Curry reached out, congratulated her, but then like challenged her to a shooting contest. And so they decided to add this as a part of All-Star Weekend. And when I tell you, it was magic. It was great. Sabrina shot the lights out. She made just as many points as the winning score total for the men for the actual 3-point shooting contest.
Okay.
So she scored 26 points. Steph Curry scored 29 points. Ended up winning, but like she balled out, bro. And I knew she was. Like she's been ready for this moment for a long time. But I think like those types of things are really great. So what are your thoughts on that in particular, and are there other things that you think the NBA can do to like add to the weekend?
I think like that's what people are looking for, like this exciting type of out of the box shit. The fact she got 26, they should have just said, all right, now you're asking the 3-point challenge. I know you just did a competition, you might be tired, but you might be able to outscore some of these motherfuckers. You might
that's
get
the
thing. Top 3.
It happened after, so it was kind of the main. So they structured it like it was basically.
So they came right after it.
It was the main event of the 3-point shootout. So that they did the entire 3-point shootout contest first, and then they finished with Steph versus Sabrina. And yeah, it was great. One thing that I would have done differently is I would have made Steph Curry shoot first. So she ended up shooting first, which kind of gave Steph an advantage because he knew what score he needed to hit. So I think they should have flipped it I mean, we all acknowledge Steph Curry is the greatest shooter on the planet and potentially maybe ever to touch a basketball ever. So like, yeah, give him some, and he's in season, in rhythm. Give him the higher level difficulty situation. And that's why I'm just like so fucking pumped like for Sabrina, because like she took that moment and was like, don't trip. I'm gonna shoot from the NBA lines. It's all good.
And she shot from the NBA line.
She shot from the NBA line
with a regulation ball.
No, with the WNBA
Make
ball.
sure I didn't do her that grimy. Like, damn, I got you shoot from the men's line too. Like,
well, I mean, her range, like,
her range is far as fuck.
Yeah, like I was never concerned about her. I was never concerned about her shooting from the NBA line versus the WNBA line. Like her range is certified. Like it is unquestioned. It's unquestioned.
Yeah.
Like she can ball, she can shoot, she is dope. Period. So I wasn't concerned about that like at all. Like I just like to me it felt like I think the more drama would have been making Steph go first. And giving her a legit, not that she didn't have a legit opportunity, because she could have put up like a 34-35 and really put that pressure on your boy, you know what I'm saying? But when she put up the number that she did, even though it was just as good as the men that had just competed prior to her, I think we all kind of knew like, it feels like Steph's probably going to get this, you know what I'm saying? So I think if they would have flipped it, it could have added to the drama and taken the drama to another level,
Yeah.
and created it more of a spectacle.
But that was part of the plan. They didn't.
Potentially.
They probably had to give. They went like, look, Steph, you better win this shit. Like, don't you lose this shit. That's probably what it's saying. Like, you know, all these gender roles and shit, just they reinforced, and that's a whole other topic for another discussion. But maybe he planned it out that way. They like, we have to make sure
That's fair.
Steph has to win this shit.
That's fair.
We've been telling them that we've been yelling off the mountaintop that men better than women at basketball. And if the first time we try this shit, your ass lose, you gonna make us look like a fool. Like, so what can we do to make sure Steph win this shit?
I mean, yes, I agree.
You know?
They definitely tipped the scales in his. They gave him a small advantage, but albeit an advantage.
Yeah, because even if he had to use a smaller ball, it probably fucked him up.
Well, yeah.
Think about if he had to use their ball.
Yeah.
And he's used to shooting his ball. It probably could have fucked him up too. So there's so many different ways you could have made this. They catered to Steph's situation. Even though I guess some of the things that people would just assume that if you make Steph play by the WNBA rules, it actually gives him an advantage. It probably won't. Because that's not what he's used to. Mm-hmm. Like, he has a certain rhythm when it comes to the three-point line. Now, if you somehow move that shit closer with a different ball, it could be completely fucking foreign to him. He's like, ooh, this shit just feel weird. Like, he gets the heebie-jeebies. Like, oh, shit, when he shoot the ball. Oh, shit, what the fuck? This little ass fucking marble? Like, it's just probably weird and shit for him. So, who knows? So, that's one of them things that I feel like it should be a consistent thing. I don't see why they wouldn't involve the WNBA and NBA more of a marriage for All-Star Weekend. Because honestly, I'm not checking for WNBA All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
But I would love to see more of that during All-Star Weekend. Like, since the slam dunk contest is garbage anyway, let's kind of get rid of that motherfucker because these skills challenges and these shooting things, both parties can participate in it, and it's just exciting.
And not only can both parties and both leagues participate, like they both can do it at such a high level that it's going to create buzz and exposure for the WNBA, and the WNBA is growing it's crazy.
Blossoming.
It is blossoming. Like, I remember watching the very first
It's regular
game.
in-game dunks now.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's tripping me. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like the WNBA is an incredible league. Like, the actual live fan experience is amazing. Yeah. Like, me and wifey and some friends went to a Sparks game recently, or when they were in season, and it was so fun, bro. Like, so I feel like bringing both of them together and displaying the best of the best, doing what they do from a skill set standpoint, because at the end of the day, like, dribbling, passing, shooting, like, that's what it is. Like, whether you're creating co-ed teams, whether you're creating, like, you know, battle of the sexes type thing, I think it all works, and I think it all brings more eyes to the sport overall. Exactly. And it brings more eyes to the weekend in a positive way, I think.
Yeah, and it's like everybody get to just stunt, and honestly, let's be real. To me, it's cheaper. You got one event. You ain't got to do this shit twice. You ain't got to do All-Star Weekend twice. Just do that shit once.
Well, I think the WNBA will still do it, but then, but it might be an opportunity for them to do try some new things and do some different things.
Yeah, or do something different. But if we can get this all, and then, like I said, this slam dunk contest has kind of died. Like, it's not there no more. And I think it was, what's that dude name that be always yelling? Stephen A.
What's that dude's name? That be always yelling.
He do be yelling though.
He do be yelling.
But he was like, he had like a rant about like how LeBron James single-handedly has ruined the slam dunk contest because he won't participate in it. He set like this standard or this tone that
precedent,
that you don't have to do this and you can still be successful. So now people don't put no effort into the slam dunk contest. I just don't think that NBA players are professional dunkers. They're professional basketball players, but there are motherfuckers that's like N1 taping that's all they do in the gym all day. I mean, got mad bounce. Like, head is way above the rim, chest above the rim. I don't know how they jumping this high. Like, I'm like, how the fuck you get this high? And they not professional basketball players. Outsource the slam dunk contest.
Okay.
All-Star Weekend, bring in professional dunkers.
I like it.
That way, no one is risking their career, because I honestly, personally believe some of them players have gotten hurt during All-Star Weekend for slam dunk contests. I think some of them players can try to do some shit, trying to win, and actually got hurt and just didn't say shit. or pulled some shit and was like, fuck, or wore out some boosties they could have had for a couple more years. I mean, fucking Blake Griffin jumping over Kias and shit, and now his back all fucked up and he can't even barely fucking get off the damn floor. And I'm like, I feel like nobody remembers his fucking slam dunks contest wins. Like, nobody care about that shit.
Yeah, they don't really talk about Blake. They talk more about Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon than they do Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin was in-game boosties.
Blake Griffin
jumping down there from the third 3-point line. Like,
yeah, Blake Griffin carried the slam dunk contest for a minute.
And for what?
At least 2 or 3 years. Dwight Howard, he ended up having back issues as well.
LeBron was like, I'm not doing that shit. And I don't blame him. Like, fuck it, I'm saving this back for when it really counts. So in my mind, just get rid of that shit and replace it with something that, like, for me, is still very high skilled, but unappreciated. And for me, it's these handles. Like, I just saw some shit on social media. It was like I think it was NBA's Instagram page. They just said these are the best crossovers for this season this year. It was ridiculous shit I seen. Like, I was sitting there like, these motherfuckers can do this? Like, this is what they did? I'm like, how the fuck do you even move your hands and think about that and cross and move? And I'm like, all right, like, I know, like, in football, they got them, like, them fucking pads that you run into. Mm-hmm. That just be, like, you just run into this big-ass pad. Mm-hmm. So let's put a big-ass, like, 2 big-ass pads on the court. And you're required to maneuver past these pads before you do whatever the fuck it is you're going to do at the rim. And it could be like the new slam dunk contest where, like, a judge is sitting on the side and see what type of ball handles you do as you navigate those 2 without traveling, without double dribbling, whatever else fucking rules you ain't supposed to do.
Okay.
And do get there. Because, I mean, the slam dunk contest is, like, exclusive to motherfuckers who got boosties. But majority, I don't know if it's a real statistic, but in my mind, I feel like more than 50% of all basketball players have some amazing handles. From Joel Embiid all the way down to the littlest motherfuckers like Steph Curry out here doing crazy shit. Each one of them you can see in game do some shit to navigate to the rim when a defender's there and you be like, how the fuck that motherfucker do that shit? And I feel like we should highlight that and see let's see what kind of creativity motherfuckers will show getting there. And I feel like more people are apt to participate in that. Because it ain't like, okay, if I can't dunk, but I know I got handles. Like, Joker be like, nah, I be doing some wild shit. Like, he'd be like, I could get to this rim. Like, past these little things. He'll introduce some Euro shit that you ain't never seen or some little shit. You'd be like, that was legal? Like, this motherfucker left. That shit count. Like, they be like, green, this motherfucker did some shit. And
the green light goes off.
It was green. It wasn't red, you know? And I think, like, people will be like, what the fuck? Just to see the level of, like, mobility. And I think that's a part of the game it's appreciated when it happened, but it's almost like jazz. It's never planned. Mm-hmm. It's just you be in a situation and motherfucker be like, and they just make it happen. But let's start. Can we create an environment where we gonna see that happen, and that would be something great for All-Star Weekend to see those moments when people do them crazy handles, crossovers to get through some shit and then do a layup or whatever, or even a dunk. I don't care what the fuck it is you do. Just get past these little fucking big ass cushions, spin move, Allen Iverson, do whatever the fuck you want to do, and get through there and make it happen and make it a competition. I don't know how else to make a competition. Shit, what do you think to?
Yeah, no, I actually love where you're going there, and I think what I would do is I would add one layer to it to bring in a more like player-driven result as opposed to a judge-driven result. So I would actually turn that idea into horse.
Okay.
And essentially what would happen in this model is whoever shot it is, whoever has control of the shot, they get to set up the cones, the defenders, the big fake defenders.
Yeah, so you bounce off that shit. I want to see motherfucker bounce off shit. Not just the cone don't give you no.
Right, exactly.
It don't make you want to move. You know, I want to see a motherfucker move. You know, and you can't. The cone ain't gonna make you want to move. I can't explain it another way. I want to see a motherfucker move.
Say that one more time. You want to see him do what?
Move. That's what I want to see. I know goddamn cones. Like I said, I want to see somebody practicing that 24-hour fitness. I want to see a motherfucker move. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, and so essentially,
I'm sorry.
Oh no, that was great. That was great.
The cold bothers me.
Yeah, so essentially, whoever has the shot, they would be able to set up their defenders however they want, and then they get to do their move and finish either at the rim, into a jump shot, whatever, into whatever hook shot, whatever shot they want to finish with, and then that person has to repeat the exact same thing, and then you play to horse and you do like a tournament style, right? Like so maybe you have 4 players on this one, 4 players on this one, so it's 8 total players.
That's
right. They play head to head, and then you know it's like a tournament bracket. Winners play each other, and then you get the finals. And then the finals, each player is playing for X amount of dollars for their respective charities.
Yeah.
And so there's like you bring in that community outreach aspect of it, while also bringing in some competition as well. And it's not like 100% like one-on-one. We got to be physical. I got to body you up. It's more like it's about creativity. It's about showing off your skill set, and it's also about making some money for your charity too.
Because I like it. Because like to me, in my mind, it's a part of the game that, in that bracket, I could see like Luka Magic. I could see Steph. I could see Kyrie. I can even see LeBron James in there. Like people that normally wouldn't participate in some shit.
I can see
SGA. Even some of these new motherfuckers. Wemby would be in that motherfucker because he got some weird handles. He navigates through bodies and get to the rim in some weird ways.
Yes.
Shoot, even Chet, like he'll get in there because he got handles.
Chet's another good one.
Embiid got handles. Harden got handles. Russ got handles. He do some weird shit. It would still count though. You be like, oh, what
I don't know. Maybe his handles are seasonal because when he was with the Lakers, boy, them shits was coming and going like the seasons,
like
bro.
We say, we can't blame Russ for what was going on in the Lakers. I mean, what's happening now in the Clippers? Clearly, it wasn't Russ.
Okay,
Russ wasn't the problem.
Okay.
You literally moved the same player somewhere else in the same city, and they're doing great.
Okay, that's fair.
Don't mean to take a shot. I'm just saying.
It's okay. These are the facts.
The truth is the truth.
These are the facts. You're right.
But so yeah, I feel like it will bring out so many different players, and it's competitive.
I think we see some really interesting shots too.
Yes, because it's like some of these players do shit that other players can't do.
Yeah,
like it's gonna be weird. You're gonna be like, what the fuck? And it's like, yeah, bro, I had that. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, been working on that for a minute.
Exactly. And you don't have to feel like what this example is during the All-Star game, Joker couldn't dunk. It was sad. It was just fucking sad. They would give him good lobs and shit. It just looked terrible. And I was like, man, this guy is great. We all know he's a great player.
But we can't see it. He's not meant for this kind of game.
No. He would probably, he'll participate in a 3-point challenge. But I feel like, he'd be like, wait a minute. Like, and you explain to him, like, it ain't got to be razzle-dazzle. You just need to get past these defenders without traveling and do what you got to do. And he got weird ways to handle the fucking ball, and it looks nice.
He'd be like, close your eyes, around the back, up your, Like, I feel like we would see some really interesting, creative shots.
And the combinations, and even if you're betting on it, it's so much volatility, and like, there's so many different people that will participate in this that you can see or even force to participate in this shit. And you will get some interesting shit. Imagine at the end, one bracket, Joker won, one bracket, Steph won. And now these motherfuckers gotta go horse against each other. It's gonna be random. It depends on who got first. Cause I don't think Steph can do everything that Joker can do. Cause he a big motherfucker.
Yeah,
it's weird.
And vice versa. So, and that's the fun in it.
But it's gonna be exciting to see what the fuck they bring out, and maybe put rules like you can't use the same thing you already did. Because that's like maybe the judge part.
I think one of the rules would also have to be like if you dunk it, whoever you're competing against, they can lay it up. They just have to lay it up on the same side of the rim or in the same. They have to get to the rim in the same fashion, but they can lay it up.
But they both wouldn't be dunking if it was Steph and Joker.
I mean that's fair. But
it would be no dunk.
That's fair. But if you had someone like Wemby or Embiid versus or Giannis versus a Steph or a Kyrie who are like they can dunk.
Yeah.
But like.
Yeah, that would probably scare some players out of it in the straight up competition.
Well,
Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you
dunk?
would just build in that rule. You would just have the rule where like a dunk and a layup basically are the same thing.
Yeah, it's getting the ball in the hole.
You got to you have to make the shot. However,
Yeah.
you have to do everything basically identical up until like dunking or making a layup. Obviously, if it's a jump shot, it's a jump shot. So you gotta if they shoot it left, you gotta shoot it left. Or if they shoot it with their offhand, because you know some people they're non-dominant hand.
Because that'd be crazy. You start like I guess it'd be half court. You dribble up, and I guess the defenders would be like a little bit past third, or I mean like right past the 3-point line. So that's one you get by, and you bounce off this one or spin there, and then just that the combination is just endless to me.
I think it would be I think that would be that would be a great addition, and I think early in its implementation, like there would be a few more eyes on it, just because it's something new. It's something we've never seen before at All-Star Weekend. Yeah. And the same thing with the Steph and Sabrina thing. So now, like, hopefully they'll bring back more WNBA players that, like, the top 3 to 5 shooters, and they do kind of a league versus league, you know, a match for match or whatever, or maybe they integrate it and do co-ed teams, whatever, however they want to do it. Yeah. The important thing is that we're, like, I think for me, like, All-Star Weekend overall was a success. But, like, I think the game just left such a sour taste in everybody's mouth. And it was the last thing everybody saw.
Yeah.
And so people just harped on that and just led with that and really leaned into just banging on on the game. And I think a lot of people probably felt like, well, damn, the weekend must have been really, really whack. And it's like, in fact, it was the total opposite. Like, there were lots of great parts of All-Star Weekend. Yeah. Obviously, we can improve that weekend. Yeah. But yeah, man, that was some good discussion. All right, man. Yeah. Well, yeah. So we got a few things in this episode. We got to recap All-Star Weekend and let the people know what we rock with and what we don't rock with. And yeah, so that is our time for today. Unless there's anything else you want to add, Ayati.
Nah, that's it.
We good? Okay. Well, y'all make sure y'all go out there and like, subscribe, follow, share, listen again. Yeah. Yeah, we appreciate y'all rocking with us. And like we do to finish each episode, Ayati,
stay casual.